Well, good evening everybody, and we have another match in the VP4 9-ball Virtual World Championships. Let me see if we can change the cloth in time. And it's between HAZAD and a guy called Danny, who I've never seen play, but we're about to see play. And this is a winner's side match, race to 19, round 2 match. We've got 3 matches on tonight. We have this one, and immediately Danny, after winning the lag, has scratched the break. We have this one at the moment. If we look across, if we can find them, that's the one that's just started, and then further down, that's one for tomorrow night. Let's see if we can find this thing. Why? Oh, it must be further up then. Hang on. Yeah, we've got the match at 8 o'clock British summer time, so in an hour's time. Cirrus is another player I've never seen play, and he's due to play MC McClarkey. And we've also got the one lost side match, which is due to start, I think, at 8:25 or something weird like that. And for some reason I've started losing my voice. Where the hell is it in the bracket now? I can't see it for looking at it. Between Tommy Yu and Wanwa at 8:15. So all these matches are going to cross over one another, but this is the main one we're going to focus on for the time being. Good evening everybody, welcome aboard. Now let's find out where Danny's from. Denmark. Well, that's not the best of shots there. He seems a player that's in a bit of a hurry again. Might be prone to make mistakes like that if he doesn't slow it down a bit. Now this is a chance that HAZAD wasn't expecting, so it is important that he should be taking this out. So that one was against the break. And likewise, HAZAD has come up dry. Now we got a little funny lag there with that cue ball. Well, this is easy enough to kick the one, but the chances are it's going to run into these balls in the corner there and stay at that end of the table. And now Danny has a chance to get behind the 6 and 4. Well, he's going all out for the pot. So, you know what I say, whenever you make that decision and you go all out for the pot, then you have to get the job done. And looking at this table, the table's good for the run out. The problem is going to be getting on the 4 and getting back to the 5, and I think that little kick, well, it's okay, you can still see it, but he's got to get on this 5 and work his way around that 8 ball, and that's well played. Now you see, there was everything about that shot was wrong, because it looked as if he changed his mind, and then in the end he's bottled out in the pot. It was not a good setup to that shot. He's looked at it, he's changed his mind for the line of it, and then he didn't commit himself either way, which is not a good sign. And it's gifted HAZAD rack number 2. And this time the bonus with a 9 ball in the break, and it's 3-0. They come in very handy. Well, Danny wants to get settled down fairly quickly, or it might end up being a very early damage limitation situation here. And again, he's dragged the cue ball there to kill the pace. And now, well, he's going to have to create something here from this shot. Well, that 3 is very tight, especially at the angle he's playing it at. Well, the line to the jaw there will still allow the 3 to drop. There's more room past the 7 than you think, but not as wide as that, there isn't. Now, is HAZAD going to try and maybe drag this cue ball along the rail to the right? Because he can certainly stun the 5 up there, the 3 up the table. He's maybe try and get the cue ball towards the 5. That would be the shot. He's looking for the thin edge to get distance. So he's avoided the scratch, but it might have been worth a try to try and just stun along the rail there towards the 5. Danny's fully committed for the bank, and likewise for him, he needs to head for the long grass. I don't like the idea of playing it from that side, because he's given HAZAD a free go for a safety here. He would have been better playing that off the left side of the 4 as we look at it, because playing it off the left side means you can go that way. Although HAZAD has failed on the safety himself, and his lifeline is a situation with the 5 ball. Let's have a look at the billiard onto the 7. Yeah. Another testy 5 ball. It's a blind pot into the middle. And that just has fallen short. So again, fully committed. 3 rails to get on the 8 ball would be the shot. Around behind the 9 ball, 1, 2, 3, and plenty of room to get on the 8. And now this one is about playing the cut and let the weight of the shot get you up to here, at least past that middle pocket. Well, he's decided to wallop it with no sort of great idea where that was going to end up. But he's got it done. So, Danny gets 1 back. Two ball running around, no shot. Again, once again for HAZAD here, an easy safety to get distance. The 2 ball's locked up, so there's no point in trying to reverse bank the 1. reverse banking it to the rail sort of there and letting the cue ball come down this way to get distance. Well, I'm assuming he played to pot it, but I don't see the value in it whatsoever. The two balls not going anywhere. It would have been better just playing a good safety. Now it's not quite as easy to get cover off this two ball. See, that's more or less a hit and hope he was going to get a result there. Good evening to Cheeky Chico. Well, if he had run inside on that, it would have come around the angles and out into the table, which from his position would have been, let me think, inside right to punch it off the rail, to actually come off the rail that way and go this way. He actually put more stun in it, I think. I don't think the angle was very helpful either, possibly. But anyway, Danny has ball in hand. And all of the ball sitting waiting. Oh, we've had bright sunshine the last few days. Bright but chilly with that cold wind. It's to get a bit milder over the next day or two, but then get cold again at the weekend. Another northerly blast to come. Now this is a tricky one here. Again, you maybe want to check the cue ball here or just baby it in and stop the cue ball leaking away. That's the thing about when you live where I live in the southwest of Scotland. Anytime there's a northerly wind, we're sheltered. We end up with blue skies and sunshine, and we don't see any snow. So back to within one, and this cue ball should be nailed on the 8, or it's full commitment for the run out for HAZAD, because everything's there. And again, the immediate problem is getting top side or over left side of that 3 ball. It might have been worth taking a risk trying to get that angle off the rail to run to the 4 and 5 there, because he could have rested on one of them and still had a shot in the 3. He's played it from a bit further away. And now the problem is, has he gone far enough to nudge this 4 in? I think he has, but he needs to maybe take evasive action here, yeah, to avoid that in off. Well, above all, off this 7 ball, assuming he pots the 6, he needs to get to the middle of the table, the cue ball. He doesn't want to leave himself short, because that way it makes it much more difficult. Although it seems simple to get down to the bottom rail for this 9, but you don't want to have a difficult pot in the 8 ball to get to the 9. And that will almost do. He could have done with a wee bit less angle in this. This is just a testy one where he's going to go 2 rails, and he's played it well. So HAZAD restores a 2-rack lead. Ball into the middle pocket, whatever one it was. 7 was it? 7 is gone. And then another one of these tricky first pots. Cue ball heading towards the 3 ball. Danger here if he hits the 3 sort of half ball in the top. Well, he's played it dead slow. It's not going to get to the hole, is it? Yes, just got to it. Well, this is where I'd be nailing the cue ball to the 8. I'd be chickening out in the pot. But he's gone 100% again. I just wouldn't have the confidence to play them. Well, again, got to get top side of this 5 ball. You have to be committed to get there, and you see that's neither here nor there. That shot, that's a poor shot, because I mean, you've got to be anywhere in this area here. It's such a huge area to get the cue ball, and to leave it there is poor. So if anything, you overhit it to get there. And he may well have escaped here, I think. Let's have a look. Yep. Although the jump cue will certainly come to the rescue. Whether it will be good enough to knock this 5 in, that remains to be seen. Well, this is going to end up, again, one of these nowhere shots where you just don't know where. You can try the cross bank, it's worth a try. You probably have to draw off this 6 to avoid scratching again. He's looking as if he's committing to a cut here. Yeah, the cut was never on. He'd had much better chance with the cross double. And once again, this looks better reverse bank into the left middle because the cue ball's running around the table. But HAZAD not committing himself. Good evening, Mark. That link that you gave us for that snooker, I watched a wee bit of the Henry match last night. Only saw the first couple of frames, then I had to go to bed. But this afternoon, I posted the link to see who was playing, and Ken Doherty was playing. I can't remember who he was playing, but it was 4-all, or I think that the guy who was playing had went 5-4 up, and then they get pulled off the table. So I don't know what the outcome was. I think they were running into the afternoon session or something. So I don't know whether he came through. Aye, it worked. It was a bit. There was a bit of buffering going on now and again, but it was still watchable. Now, as far as I know, from what I heard or what I read, Jimmy White's going to have to rely on another handout if he gets one, because if he doesn't, then he's going to have to actually he's going to have to end up going to Q School to get his tour ticket back, I think, or his tour card, by the sounds of it. And it's just a bit ironic that Stephen Hendry was his nemesis in 4 finals in the World Championships, and as his nemesis, well, Q School is where players who haven't qualified for the tour, they try and qualify. There's 128 places for the professionals on the tour, where they've all got a chance at earning money. But when I think that match last night, White was like 84th in the world or something, and he's obviously not earning enough ranking points, which is money. It's whatever your winnings are converts just straight to points, and I think that White had to win that first match last night against Henry to stay in the tour. I'm not 100% certain, but that's what I read. So basically then he has to join all the young boys, and maybe 1 or 2 other players in his age group, not that there's that many, to try and re-qualify. As I say, unless he gets handed a tour card out of charity again. Anyway, HAZAD is now 5-2 up. I think this Q School place is in Sheffield anyway. So it is. Now what's happened to Danny here? I thought he'd fallen asleep. Well, he just, there's nothing else he's going to do. He can he'll still earn, I mean, at the moment he's probably earning more money in exhibitions than he is in the actual tour. Because a lot of these tournaments, when there's 128 in them and it's the first to 4, in the first round, if you get knocked out, you get nothing. And Jimmy White, like many of them, are struggling to earn a living, but he probably gets more money in exhibition matches, his sponsorship, and any other endorsements he still does than what he is from actually playing on the tour. Plus he then obviously does his bit of punditry work on Eurosport as well. So HAZAD is opening up a gap. It's now gone to 4, and well, Cobra said earlier on, I think Cobra said earlier tonight there, but he said Danny's quite a good player. Well, is he going to go all out for the combo here? Yeah. Well, I define a good player. I don't know whether I define it any different from anybody else, but I define a good player as not somebody who just wants to pop balls. I want to see if they've got like an all-round game, and once again they're not just one-dimensional. Now that remains to be seen. So the judgment call on Danny is still out. It's still with the jury until I've seen some more. But he's certainly going to have to prove that he's got the makings of a half-decent player, because he's going to have to work hard to get back into this. But I don't think it would be a hard job if he gets wise. But you know, if he thinks the best form of defence is attack, then he may well pay the price for that. And now HAZAD's got himself in trouble, and he's now scratched again. A poorly judged safety shot. Not an awful lot of thought went in before he just let it go, and he's given Danny a free gift here. And this has gone, well, the 8 balls, I think this is pretty straight, because I think they're both in the line, so there's not much you can do with this cue ball other than get it up the table, spin it out slightly like that, and make the most of it. So this has to go, and it just went in, so it's 1 rack recovered. And a couple of balls in the break, and a shot in the 1, and a shot that should allow Danny, if he plays this right, to stun across towards the 7 and get on that too. Well, this is important. I think that especially where he is in this 3, if he can get this 3 in, he needs to watch he doesn't try and drag this towards the 4, because he could scratch with this angle. And in the end, he's gone forward to avoid that, and that's what's missed the pot. Well, he needs to show a bit more consistency at the table, Danny. He needs to string more balls than that together. And this is a good chance gone for Danny. It should have been his. So a quick reminder for those of you who have joined just after the start of the what will be the first match tonight. We're going to have a crossover. This match started half an hour ago. The next match on the schedule is the match between Cirrus and McClarkey, or MC Clarkey, which is at the top of the hour at 8 PM, 2000 hours British summer time. And we also have that one lost side match at 8:15 or whenever it is. So once again, Danny's in a position here. If he can get to the 5, and that needs to keep going. Now, this time, no excuse for not finishing top side. of that 6, which if it's top side enough should allow him to draw back. Let's have a look. Yep, he can push that into the far side of the pocket and draw it back towards the 9. Well, that's another poorly judged shot. Got to commit to the draw there, and this is an example of a way to lose yourself in a rack. When you've got the table at your mercy, it's a perfect example of how to lose the place. When the simple shot was a draw towards the 9 and you were on the 7, and that is not a good sign of a player that's thinking correctly. No, I'm off. This is me finished. I finished early this morning. I'm off tomorrow and I'm off Thursday. Back at work Friday morning, so it has to be an early night on Thursday night, obviously. 9 o'clock at the latest. But I'll be here for whatever matches are on tomorrow. And Thursday, provided that they're at a decent time. And then, as I say, I've also got a week, the first week of the World Snooker Championships. I'm pretty certain I should be off, because I usually do have that booked in, so that I've at least got a week where I can watch the snooker. So any matches that happen that week, I'll have them as well, because this tournament won't be over by then. So, well, my judgment on Danny is, from what I've seen so far, if I was to class a player as a good player, they would have the common sense to play the right shot most of the time. And he's had a couple of positions where he's given racks away because of the wrong choice. And well, when I say the wrong choice, the obvious choice had to be the drawback in that 6, because when I talked about getting, the 6 ball was here. When I talked about getting to the top of the table and I looked at that shot, the shot was to pot the 6, draw the cue ball back to where the 9 was, and the 7 was here. And why he didn't see that is beyond me, because he ended up the cue ball here. Probably not as easy as that, as a matter of fact, or maybe more difficult, but those type of things, you really have to see them. And that's a failing. Well, as I've said, Cobra, it doesn't matter how well you play in a challenge room, you will get found out very quickly over the distance. And HAZAD has a problem here. And he's tried to check it to give him the best chance of potting this. That's a fair chance. He can actually drag into this 8 ball and cut it and still hold for the 9 at this end of the table, I think, from this shot. Yeah, he's played it well. So you've got to play those. These are things you've got to learn to do as well. Play that little draggy sort of kill shot that is a bit like a half-hearted draw shot, but you're really just killing the pace off the cue ball, but you've still got the momentum into the shot. Things like that, those subtle things, are things you pick up through time. But it will only ever come about if you've got good faith in your mouse as well. It's better that you're in control of the mouse than the mouse is in control of you, because again, a lot of these players that don't dial their mouse in, they're never in real control of the pace of their shots, which is all part of the major reasons why they slumber around struggling to get 2 and 3 balls together. And I think Danny's got a lot to learn. In my early opinions of him, he's got a lot to pick up. But again, he still has time to settle in. He's banked to 1. He's got himself awkward on the 3, but he wants to come down towards the 8 off this. Down towards the 8 like that, and that's unlucky, but that was a shot to get him good on the 4 where he could have rolled up the table and finished on the 5. And this is another awkward one. And HAZAD needing a bit of luck here, and he's got it, and HAZAD can play the shot I was talking about on this 4. He can draw it towards the 7, he might even kiss off the 7 and end up in the middle there. Well, that's maybe gone, that's okay. I thought it was going to lock up behind the 6. Now, I don't know whether he can still hold this with a deep draw, just to draw to the rail. No, he's not risking it. Maybe he'd have been better risking it to give him a better angle in this 6. Because he's now going to be meddling with a 7 ball, and he doesn't want to be. And he's avoided it, which will do nicely. Well, that's true. He's thrown himself in at the deep end. And I think, who did he play? Who did he play in his first match? Let's have a look. We'll give HAZAD that rack. Right, so he hasn't played. Because according to this, both of these players never showed up for their first match, according to that. Oh, mind you, no, that's the way it happens. It forfeits and then it just throws somebody through, so he hasn't played. Right. Well, it's bad news and getting worse for Danny. HAZAD with a comfortable 7 rack lead and not really been put under pressure yet. Well, there's some good hiding spots at the top of the table here. And well, this is where Danny wants to. He wants to start getting down and dirty here if he can. You see that shot there doesn't constitute someone who's thinking a lot about what they're doing, or maybe there's a lack of ideas as to what to do as far as safety goes there, because that's not good. So, from the evidence of that shot, he's rapidly fallen into the one-dimensional category. Well, that's the one major failing with most players. I mean, they have this. There's this fixation in a lot of players who play this game where they love to hear a ball banging into a pocket. In terms of constructive play, they are sorely lacking. But you would hope that for many of them that would come through time. And the more beatings and batterings that they get, the more inclined they might be to think, well, what can I do to stop this? And I've covered this ground 100 times. I watch a lot of these players. But again, if you go in with the attitude that you're relying on help from your opponent, then it's not going to get you many places. Certainly not deep into a tournament, it won't. Now, of course, the double kiss off this 9 might help. Let's see what happens here. I don't know whether he can get the cut to that 4, can he? Maybe not, but the even more difficult thing is actually getting it safe. That'll do. Well, Danny doesn't want to get this cue ball too far out into the table. And now HAZAD, I think, has pretty much got full control of the situation here because Danny's in bother. Got the hit. Well, he's got distance, but it's a fairly straight in pot. Good bit of running in the cue ball to get up the table. And needs to run into that 5 and get lucky. Well, here's Danny's chance to pinch one back. And forcing the cue ball around to get to the 6 has undone him. And a good shot by HAZAD should seal the deal on this rack. Is he dead straight? No, he can stun. He can stun behind the 9. Well, ball in the break, but no shot, unlucky. But once again, HAZAD can feather that one and get good distance and let Danny think of a strategy. Because to me, that's what I'd be doing. I'd be just getting distance and having seen what Danny's up to, let's see how he copes with dealing with getting out of a situation like this one. He's going to have to dig out the jump stick. There is a safety net. The 4 and the 8 are on the rail, but the 4 and the 8 are a combo down the rail or up the rail, depending on how you're looking. And HAZAD's going to get first go here if he can sneak out behind the 7, but the cue ball's got a long way to go. Well, he's not to 7 in. He might even kiss the 4 into play. It's not changed anything. In actual fact, it looks a better combo now that the 4's actually out off the rail slightly. It's much easier to judge, but I think the major problem, well, that's still off the rail as well, the 8 ball. But that's what it's going to have to be. Now, probably just play it from where it is down at the bottom end here. That's a good shot. So, the steamroller that is HAZAD levels another rack, and commentator's curse has done him. HAZAD's taken his eye off the 9 ball, and he's gifted Danny a chance to knock this down the rail. Now, it's up to Danny to try and make the most of that one. That's why you've got to stay on the ball, keep focused, take your eye off the score sheet, and pay attention to what you're doing rather than just looking at how big a lead you've got. But Danny getting, once again, no joy. He gets a ball in the break but no shot. But let's see what the safety's like, because that's the weakest part we've seen tonight, and that's awful. That is from someone who's not played a lot of pool, let's be honest, or any sort of billiard game, because that is sorely lacking in a safety aspect, which is vitally required if you have to survive any length of time in any tournament. You must bring everything to the table. But again, there's room to learn. And Danny getting a duck. He seems to like to play these draggy shots. Got lucky there. Got to try and make the most of it though. That needs a bounce to reduce that angle on this 4. And now off the side rail and out into the middle of the table is the order of the day here. The angle's there to do it. Well, anything but straight on this 7, because he doesn't want to be drawn for position. Well, this, he's got a choice as to where he goes, but somewhere in the middle of the table would be ideal. And if he gets a nice little brush in the 8 would help. I don't suppose that's too bad. Now, a little draw and our cue ball's going to the left, and the pace is better this time. And it's another rack back. Still trailing by 6, 11 racks to 5. HAZAD leads in this race to 19. And we've been going for 49 minutes or so. And all of a sudden Danny's forgot to play a break shot. So, ball in hand for HAZAD. Presume it's a 1-7, yeah, as I didn't think the 1 could go. I've never seen this player either, so we'll see how he does, because it's not looking like we're going to have a prolonged match here, unless things can turn for Danny, but they won't turn unless he helps himself. And immediately HAZAD has got Danny in trouble again. Good opportunity here. If you think, well, he's got the hit, how's his luck? Well, he's going to be in trouble again in a second or two, because this cue ball should be stuck in behind the 9 and 6 and the 3 ball up the table. He could have stunned it probably to get there, but that's left enough gap for the jump. Well, he's probably going to end up running into these, and then hopes to get lucky, unless he's drawn it deep off the 4 ball. Well, he's managed to stun across. That'll do it. Well, he's played one shot there to get position, and now he's left it a wee bit short in the 6, but just a straight roll in. How's he lining up? Well, this is just a kill shot in the 8 ball. And now this is another offline. See, again, he's going too much in a hurry with that there. Did not set himself, and it's from the jaws of victory straight to defeat, just by being careless. So it's 12-5 to HAZAD, and well, it just looks as if it's a matter of time. I don't think there's going to be any major changes in this match. Well, you know, you don't know stubbish for motion, what? I'm fluent in stubbish. I can do all the translation for you. Most of stubbish is just phonetics. That's what stubbishness is. Well, there's a little set of balls down here that need tidied up. If HAZAD can get, he needs to get fairly straight in this 6, and that looks okay to me. The reason I say that is being fairly straight means he's avoiding running into balls, and he can just pot the 7 past the 8. He wants to maybe draw into the 9. There wouldn't be any harm in drawing into the 9 here just to hold for the 8. That'll do it. Well, we've got 6 minutes before the next match starts, and that will be between Cirrus, as in clouds, against MC Clarkey McClarkey. Push out played. Now Danny should be putting his opponent back in. And now does he know how to yes, he has passed it back. And Danny now has a shot on the 1. How's he lining this up? It's just a little jab in. Hampered over the 6. Makes it even more difficult, especially when you have to get the cue ball down for the 3. And that, he might be able to drag the 3 in and still stay there, I think, for the 4, even though he'll be away from the 4, but he should still be able to drag that in. He's played that well enough. Now, this is where it requires that bit more accuracy. He either runs it and runs up past the middle pocket to leave the 6 into this corner. And see, with that shot, again, he's sort of chickened out, but he's still got a shot if he doesn't scratch in this middle pocket here. He doesn't look as if he's got the line here for the pot, to me. Maybe now, but he's playing the draw off it. Yeah. Once again, Danny's chance is gone. Right, HAZAD. Well, this is not a gimme, this one. No guarantee you'll get good off this. See, that was almost running away, that 8 ball from the rail. And so Danny gets his chance. You see how simple it looks when there's only 2 balls on the table. You would have thought the 8 and 9 weren't going to be a problem. And Danny gets the bonus there. Now, I'll be back in a minute. I'm going to have to take a bathroom break or I'm going to explode. Back in a sec. Right, I'm back. Yeah, whatever happened to Nixana? That's another one that's probably changed their name. So, HAZAD with a 7-rack lead, and well, that guy Cirrus was in the lobby 2 hours ago because I saw his name. I don't know whether he's in the lobby now, but we'll have a quick look, see if we can get this tab to change. I don't see Cirrus there unless he's in a room. And I don't see, I think they're all in the chat. Right, this is the ones in the room. Where's Larry? Well, he's playing Zwiley. Right, Cirrus is in practicing, and MC McClarky's in practicing as well, so both players are here. In fact, the room will be up. What am I talking about? The room will already be up and they'll be underway. So, was that another golden break there? What the hell happened here? Yeah, it is. It's 13-8 now. So, Danny back to within 5. And, well, I don't think there's any combo on here because I don't think the 9... Well, there is a possibility that 9 might cheat, but the 3's too close, I think. Well, he's got it. That was well played. And has Danny woke up? Because, how many is that? Is that 3 racks in a row or what? It's 13-9. 5 ball in the break. But no shot in the 1. Something else went into the right middle. The 2's gone. It's going to be the jump shot escape. Again, a well played jump shot. But it's, again, this is where he has to find something good here, but there's not an awful lot of options available with this angle. He's went all out for a cut that was never really on. And it's given HAZAD control again. Well, that might be Danny's swan song there, that little burst of racks that he had. Well, hold on a second. I think HAZAD's still okay. But he's got to get good on the 6 though, which is never guaranteed the way he's dead straight in the 4. Well, I'll go with the majority. If you guys want to go, if you want us to jump into the other match and then we just keep an eye on what's happening in this one, I'm fine with that. I'm hoping to see a closer match. We'll see the end of this rack. And, well, this just needs to be punched through. In fact, it didn't need to at all. So HAZAD is going to be 5 away, and still looks as if it's too big a mountain for Danny to climb. So what we'll do is we'll go to the bracket, and we'll see that the Cirrus match. This will give us an idea, our first chance for most of us to see this guy playing. But he's put himself onto that top 10 leaderboard for the 1000 $. Let's see how good he is. And again, this is a second round match, race to 19. And let's find out where he's alleged to be from, because remember, we don't trust anybody nowadays. Well, according to that, he's got a US flag. And the 3 ball, of course, is stagnating up there behind the 5, so it's going nowhere fast. Well, if McClarkey can see the 3, and I don't think he can see enough of it to get the edge of that 3, he's going to have to probably just roll to it. Well, I think Cirrus can get the cue ball behind the 3 and certainly pot it. Let's see how he handles this situation. So Cheeky Chico, do you live anywhere near Fray Bentos? Well, this is crying out for a safety. Well, he's went all out for it. And it's the 5 balls back in the same position it was 5 seconds ago. And this is just as tough for MC McClarkey. Oh, needs a nice kiss off that knuckle. Is it? I knew it was somewhere down that part of the world. 5 hours, not a problem. That's just down the road in that part of the world. Oh, here's another testy one. Big blind cut back in the 7th. Cue ball running around the table. Not in Argentina, they don't. Did you not see Top Gear when Hammond, Clarkson and May went there? They didn't get a very warm welcome, I seem to remember. They get bloody hunted out of the country. Well, it also helps if you don't tell them you're from the UK. That's another way to avoid any awkward situations. Well, we're all square. 1 rack all. Ball in the break. 7 ball is gone. And plenty of room off the rail for the 1 ball, but the cue ball is certainly going to be running a fair distance like this. And another tough cut. Now we can see that the 3 does go past the 9, but obviously be unlikely to get good on the 3 other than finishing up here or finishing down here if you're coming that side. If you're trying to bring the cue ball down this side, the danger is the 8 ball being there. So there's things to get in the way of this next shot. I don't know, has he hit that hard enough? Is he going to find a gap? Is he going to go too far? He's just gone a tad too far. That was almost a good shot. He's going to bail out with the jump stick though. 1913. And that's on a player you've never seen before. Well, that's a good shot. Unlucky again though. And this time Cirrus will be waiting on his opportunity. And his chance awaits with ball in hand. Now, does he want to go forward and come down this left side, because there's always a danger of running into trouble near that 9 ball, but you can certainly keep it out into the table slightly, and he's done that right enough. That match looks as if it'll be over fairly soon. Well, Cirrus has left himself awkward here. He's left himself with a bedhead shot. He wanted to be closer than this. This is a testy one, and that 9 ball is awkward. If you don't get straight on it, he's going to have to come across. Now, he can cut it, and he'll avoid the scratch. He'll just hit the point. Well, Fan is online for his one lost side match. And it's 2-1 to Cirrus. Now, we'll always know when Cirrus has got multiple profiles, because as soon as you see somebody with cumulonimbus and stratus, then we know they're up to no good. Well, Cirrus with a dry break. Yeah, I could hear the tumbleweeds blowing across the room there, because obviously it went over most people's heads. Well, I don't think there's any problem with the combo, because that's as dead set as it's ever going to be. And HAZAD goes through 19 racks to 9. Well, the advice for Danny is get into that practice table, watch some of these matches. In fact, that might be a good idea. Get him into the stream. Somebody give him the link. Where the hell's Danny from? Where did I say he was from? Oh, he's come into the room. Where did we say he was from? Oh, he might not speak. Well, most Norwegians and Danes speak better English than what I do anyway. But yeah, he's got a lot to learn. As long as he wants to learn, that's the main thing. Meanwhile, a player with a fair bit of experience at the table at the moment, and the player that gubbed me 10 frames to 1 in the Virtual World Snooker Championship, God knows how many years ago. But I had the perfect alibi that day. My mouse was playing up. But you never saw me running and quitting. I went to the bitter end. I went to the bitter end. That's, I mean, how many years has that got to be? That's got to be what? This is 2021. That's got to be 11, 12 years ago, at least. At least that. So we're back all square. Where's Danny gone? Has he left the building? Yeah, he needs to work on a safety game, because that's fairly non-existent. So he needs to firm up to be a lot more competitive. You know, there are players out there who, for some strange reason, they think that playing a safety shot is too negative, and somebody will think they're a numpty for doing it. There are probably quite a few players out there. I mean, I remember being in a challenge room not that long ago, probably a few months ago, and I remember I played a couple of safety shots, and the guy that was in the room that I was playing, he get pissed off because I was playing safety shots. He didn't think I should have been playing safety shots because I had a much higher rating than him. And what his attitude was, I should be going for shots, whereas my attitude is percentage. And I was playing safeties and getting him in trouble, and he was getting annoyed because I was putting him in trouble. And there are players like that who they've got nothing but numbers going through their head. And there's a lot of players just need to firm up and work on adding various tools to their game. And having a safety game is a big part of it, especially over the distance in tournaments. Well, McClarkey, or MC Clarkey as he wants to be known. The jump escape, but can he keep the object ball or the cue ball on the table here? Because that's the big problem with this short distance. And he's played it well, but he's going to have to dig out another good one. Now, what does he do here? Reverse bank or the thin cut? The problem is, if he plays the thin cut, he's got no chance of getting on the 8 ball. Unless this cue ball travels a huge distance and he gets lucky. If he plays the reverse bank, he can at least drag some control off the cue ball. Whether he'll get on the 8 is still doubtful. But he's played the cut and he's done everything to hold it. But now he's got to make his mind up. And that's as good a shot as anything, what he's done there, because he's left him snookered. Well, there's maybe a feather edge of the 8 ball he can see, but he's left nothing on. And Cirrus's pace is maybe just a wee bit in the heavy side, because that's going to encourage, I'm going to call him MC, that'll annoy him even more. That's left him the encouragement to take the cut here. Or I'll call him Clarkey. Or I'll go back to just calling him McClarkey, because that's the one I'm used to. Well, always needing that good bit of kiss off the 9 there, but he's left this straight. But these are always testers as well, just to find that point where you don't push it to a jaw. And he's got it sweet, and he's got the lead. Well, let's have a quick look at the bracket. Now, where do we find this other match? I think it's further up, isn't it? Oh no, it must be. Oh, there we go. Oh no, that's not it. That's for tomorrow night. Dirties and Sergeresh at 8 o'clock. Where the hell's this one? Right, there we go. Wanwa or Fan and Tommy U are underway. They're in their first rack. I'll get that adjusted to 10 seconds or however long it is, 30 seconds. And we'll keep an eye on that match. Yeah, it's going to be the jump, escape and pot here. Well, now he's just going to have to hope he misses a 7 because he can't see the 3 to pot it. But he's got to look for distance here, I think. Is he trying to cross bank it? No, just trying to get distance. Needs cover from the 6. And well, I think he's got it. And that's certainly not going to be jumped. Not a difficult kick, but again, if you kick it plain ball off the side rail and hit it full, you've got a chance of scratching. Well, he managed to bend it round it because that was not on. So he had to get a wee bit of spin on that. That was a good shot. Oh, that was far too long to jump. But it was still a good pot, that one. It didn't look on to me. It looked too tight. But then again, don't rely on my eyes. Well, that's definitely on. I can see that. There's a big gap past that 9 ball. Well, good evening to all the latecomers. You've missed the first match of the night, which was between HAZAD and xxxdanny. HAZAD winning 19, what was it? 19-9 at the end of the day. Yeah, Bill's got 12-foot legs, the same as Potman's 12-foot arms. This is another bedhead territory cut if ever I've seen one. But this to more or less square the match. And he's played it well. Bullshit with that one. There's no way you can get 2 bloody cue balls through that gap to get to that. What ball was it again? I forgot. Was it the 5? Well, there you go. Commentator's curse again. Cirrus does all the hard work. And he's hung the 9. Who the hell's this Twitch Spectre Don character? Is that somebody else in another profile? Good evening. Multiple profiles on Twitch now. Yeah, I've watched it all. I've watched all his video. It's amazing how it's like a life or death situation for him, isn't it? Well, I don't trust whoever it is that puts Twitch Spectre Don in their name as their profile. Could be Woody for all I know. Now, it could be another one of these profiles he doesn't use that he's he's given to somebody else to play VP4 with. You never know. Anyway, back to matters in hand. We have a break, albeit a gift by Cirrus to MC McClarkey, who has now got a 4-2 lead. And, well, he's looking to hide this, I would imagine. I don't think he's anticipating doing anything with this 3-ball, surely. Or is he? Yeah, he's gone for the bank. He's trying to get second prize. Now you try to tell me you can get past that to pot that 3, because that's the way that last shot was, that he had to bend round to make the angle. Hang on a minute, just a wee minute. Once this shot goes, I'll get the link. Yeah, see it, there you go, it was never on it. Wiped his feet before him, and hang on a sec, I'll be back in a sec. Right, I'm back. Wait a minute to get my cue stick out of the way. Now, if anybody hasn't seen, what do you call it? Woody's video. This is Woody explaining his actions. Now, I'm not going to post it in the lobby. What I'm going to do is find somebody who's in the stream with us, who's also in VP4. Right, now hang on a sec. Right, what I'll do is I'm going to open that PM and do that, and that's the link for the video if you want to watch it. You want me to press it? Anyway, that's it. That's the link. Not that you can copy it on this thing. And right, let's focus on this instead of faffing about here. Where have we got to? It's a 3-rack lead. Well, partially because I wasn't getting into any discussions over how he ended up in that situation. Now there was more than me who thought there was dodgy goings on, and that's the point I would make, is the fact that when you start doing stuff like that, especially if you were a moderator, the first thing it tells you is you hadn't read the terms and conditions properly, which is the first thing you should do if you're going to be a moderator, and leave yourself open to all sorts of questions as to what you're up to, especially when one tournament ends up with one profile playing another profile and strange things like that going on. It's all very well that he's explained what he was up to, but you don't put yourself into that situation. Well, we're going to find out what Cirrus is made of in this match. He's got a reasonable enough rating, although ratings are never always the proper guide, but he's got the perfect situation here where McClarkey's missed a 2 and he's left Cirrus a chance. I posted the link in Popman's profile there. I didn't click it. And I don't think you can post links in Twitch. Because that's Cheeky Chico and Arsonist trying to post links on Twitch. I think it might be switched off. Yeah, you can watch it and then you can listen to the full story. But I don't think there's anything in the video. Can you see what one? Well, there's no point in posting a link in the chat that comes on, the chat that you see coming on my screen, because nobody can click anything. That's only just to mix up all the chat from YouTube and Twitch and Facebook. But Cirrus is on the road to recovery here if he can complete the job in this rack. Vital that he does. Well, this needs to get lucky. Oh, I don't know how he's going to do this. How is he going to play this without scratching? Well, that's a good shot. He took the risk. He took a big risk. There was never any surefire guarantee that you could pop that in and not scratch, and he hit right on the point to keep him on the table, and there you go. All of a sudden we've got the bonus 9 ball in the break and 2 quick racks, and he's back within 1. And of course that counts as a rack ran, doesn't it? But I would never have played that cut on the 9 with any confidence at all that cue ball would stay in the table. But to be honest with you, the only other option he had was the kick up and down to hit it half ball to pot it. And he took a big risk, but you know, he who dares wins. There are times where you just have to bite the bullet. Even though the little voice in your head is telling you you're going to scratch, sometimes you just have to ignore it. But the very few occasions that you do, and you go for it. Well, he's trying to drag everything off that there, and again, not confidently going through with the shot. You know, he had plenty of room to get on the 3. You know, you've got to punch them in. And from looking like a full recovery, he may well have just blown it there with that one shot. Although McClarkey's going to do well here to cut this 3 and still have a shot in the 4. He's going to try and drag the pace off it again and run into it and get lucky. Well, that'll do it. Again, it's not the luck that you get, it's what you make of it. You know, he could have easily just skimmed past the 4 there and had nothing. Now that he's ran into it and brought it into play, he has to take it all out. But this 9 ball is again just in an ugly place. Got to get good in the 7 as well, it's fairly close to the rail. So the pressure's on McClarkey now. This to defend his lead and open the gap. Well, this is a similar shot to earlier on. Does he try and baby this into the middle, or does he play this draggy shot to punch it up the table and leave a shot in the 9? But he's going to be leaving a difficult shot in the 9 doing that. If he just rolls this into the jaw, well, he's tried to kill the pace right up the table, and I don't think he could have played it any better. Who's Liverpool playing in? What is it? The Champions League? Well, that's a good clearance there by McClarkey. Couple of difficult shots, and held his nerve. And that shot by Cirrus there on that 3 ball, I think it was a 3 ball, that's blown the rack and gave it away. McClarkey had to work to get it, but you don't want to be playing those half-hearted, nervy shots. You want to be playing that with loads of confidence. Oh, aye. What is it now? Is this the knockout stages, or is it still the... I mean, they're getting rid of the group stages, I hear, in the Champions League. They're changing the format of it. Not this season, but I don't know whether it's next season or whenever. Well, there's Fan, who's one player who's obsessed with his rating, and yet in any tournament like these he's been in, he has tripped up and fallen over big time. In every tournament I've seen him in. Big ratings for show. Been able to run racks for dough. So McClarkey with a 2-rack lead. Well, Cirrus, I presume, played fairly decently in his first match to have jumped straight onto that leaderboard with 7 racks ran in total. It's a big change in this match. Who the hell did he play in the first round? Let's have a look, because I've got absolutely no clue who he played. Where are we? Where the hell is he in this bracket? We got to go up again. Or did he play at all? Oh, he beat Whiskey 2, 19-7. And meanwhile, where's this other match? Tommy U 6-0 according to the bracket. Again, another opportunity for Cirrus to show us what he's made of. this angle here. Well, he's got the perfect angle now. I don't know whether he's lining this. Again, he looks as if he's lining this up to the middle pocket. I'd much rather take this long and get the cue ball running to go over to the left. I'm not convinced that was the best shot, because again, this 9 ball is going to end up in play here. I would have been much happier going long and letting the cue ball run across. This has got to hit the 9. Well, he's avoided it, played it plain ball, and he's letting it run. He's going to prove me wrong in this rack, I think. Now, again, if you run forward, you don't want to run close to the 9. If you stun it, you risk rattling the 8 ball, and you've got to stun this firm. I see he's took a big risk there, and now he's going to have to pull out the thin cut. It's well off the rail, so he should get this in to get back within 1. And that was a good recovery as well in that rack. And that rack there looks, well, it looks slightly tilted, very, very slightly. And the 4 ball is going to miss the 8 and go in as well. He's got a 9 times out of 10 bank on the 1 here. With a strong liability, he's going to hit the 9. Or strong likelihood he's going to hit the 9. Well, he's hit the 9, he's got the bank, and he's now hooked on the 2. Oh dear, the yawning started again, big time. Well, I would have thought of doing something similar, because you always have a chance of getting lucky and nudging a 9 in, playing that bank, because you know that you're going to hit the 9, so you've no guarantee you're going to be on the other ball anyway. You're always riding your luck, so you might as well have a blast at it, try and get 2 birds with 1 stone, as I say. Well, you look at that bank he had, I mean, that you have to really play it badly to miss that bank. And McClarkey's got out of jail here, he's missed a 2, and he's left everything awkward for Cirrus. Awkward where the 2 is, awkward because he's queuing over the 5, this is really tough. I don't know what the hell he's going to try here, because he's not got many options, I'll say that for him. I mean, from this side, if he was to jack up with a bit of spin and just miss the 3, he could certainly spin and hit the 2. If he hits it half ball, he might bank it back up the table. But that's hoping for miracles that way. The kick with a bit of spin looks easier from the side he's going. He hasn't got a rail though, he's just millimetres off it. So it's given MC McClarkey ball in hand, and this is a crucial ball in hand, if only for the fact that it's just going to keep Cirrus at distance here, and it's all a test of McClarkey's nerves as well, to see if he's feeling the pinch, because he's got an immediate problem with this 5 ball. It's not going past that 8, so he has to get on it good. Well, he's not leaving it easy. This is a tester. And it could, if he doesn't get it, result in this match going all square. Now he needs to avoid the 8 or run into the 8 and hold for the 7 at that top right hand end of the table. Well, he's just paying in pocket weight, and that's well played. I thought he was going to go for the stunt, but he played it fully committed, and that's what you have to be. You have to be fully committed on shots. You can't be playing anything half-hearted. You're always going to have the best chance of running out when you play the right shot 100% committed. So, McClarkey has a 2-rack lead. Right then, well, let's jump into this match and have a quick look and see what damage is going on here, and whether it's self-inflicted or whether Tommy's playing out of his skin. Let's have a quick look. And this table here has simply got to be ran. I mean, even I could run this. You know, cut the 3 back across the table twice. The 6 ball right in the middle of the table, so you've got 5 pockets that the 6 ball can go in. Well, I would let the cue ball run. I wouldn't leave it at this bottom end of the table. I would let it run, get loads of top on it and get it up into the table. You're bound to be on the 6 ball somewhere. And he's spending a lot of time looking at this 4 ball. You run the 4 ball and run the cue ball and just hope you get it up the table for a shot. You got to get top side to make it easier to get down onto the 7. And again, he's chickened out because now he's having to run everything. Look where the 7 is. Why would you want the cue ball down here to play the 6 when you want it up there to play the 6? Anywhere up here. He's got to run it. And that looks a good pace though. Well, I don't think you'd have played it any better, but there are easier ways to get the job done. That's all I'm going to say. But he's still not home and dry yet and getting off the mark. And now it gets even tougher. So, he's not going to scratch. He just has to let this run around the angles and out into the table far enough to make the 9 ball comfortable. And he'll be off the mark. And that will do. So it's only a race to 13. And at least Fan Wanwa, well, if he doesn't do something completely stupid here, is going to get rid of that big round 0. And he's now got a couple of balls in the break. And he's got a good opportunity to bury Tommy here. So he wants to do a sensible thing. We'll see how this goes and then we'll go back to the other match. But that was not the sensible thing. A very poor safety. Got to play it with the right touch. And it's given Tommy Yu a free go. And I'll tell you something else. These are the ones that they do hurt you the most when you play a poor safety and you give your opponent a free go. And well, he might not get much out of this, but it's more than likely that Fan's going to get a taste of the medicine he should have gave Tommy Yu. And Tommy looks, is he looking to see the combo? Why doesn't he just bury him behind the 2? What am I talking about? I forgot he's on the 2. Right, I'm falling asleep. The brain has gone. Let's go back to the other match. It's past my bedtime. Where is the other match now? I can never remember where the hell the thing is in the bracket. Right, so, well, the lead has now extended back to 3 racks for MC McClarkey. But Cirrus at the table. The table is wide open, and the first objective here with the 3 is make sure you get well down past the line of the 4. And when I say the line of the 4, you don't want to be here on this line. You want to be on that line, like that, to make it so simple to drop onto the 5. Just come back to the World Snooker Championships. I seem to remember in the last few years when it's got down to like Judgment Day, as they call it, like the final qualifying matches, they're usually streamed and made more widely available than these early round matches, where they're just on the what is it they call it again, the Eurosport Player. So, well, by the end of this week, we should know who all the qualifiers are for the World Championships. Stephen Hendry, I don't know when he plays his next match, but it can't be that far away because he's got to play 4 if he's going to have a chance of qualifying, which is an extremely tall order, because as you go through the qualification, the quality goes up the way. So he's got a slim to 0 chance of qualifying. Well, that's the other thing I'm not sure of, whether they've completely changed the format, because these first round matches, there's they're a race to 6. Whereas I'm pretty certain the final qualifying is a race to 10, the same as the first round. But anyway, it's back to within 2 for Cirrus. And he's getting a couple of balls in the break as well. The 3 and the 5 have gone. It's the bank on the 1. But this cue ball has to run if he's going to get anywhere that he can do something with that 2 ball, because the 2 ball's not going anywhere at all. The best he could end up doing is having a shot for a combo that way, or for some strange reason ended up there and playing a 2 onto the 8 this way. That's a bit far-fetched. But he could also just leave the bank on the 2 if he gets down the bottom right hand side. Well, what's he going to do? I mean, he's got an easy safety shot to just push that cue ball, well, not quite onto the 6, but you've got to hold your nerve to play that shot. But this is not an easy combo if he's looking at it. All your eggs into one basket, as they say. Well, could have been better to leave less of the 2 shown. That might... I don't think that cuts. At that angle it doesn't cut. But then again, because McClarkey can only see partially the edge of the 2, he doesn't really have many areas that the cue ball's going to end up. He's going to end up tight in the corner here, or he's going to end up scratching. Well, he's managed to miss, and that's not a bad result. That's worked out excellent. He got it thin enough that he could get the line off the short rail and the side rail to get down here at the bottom of the table, and now he's got control. Excellent. Yeah, I just find it weird that his name's written as Wanwa, but it's pronounced Fan. That's an excellent shot as well by Cirrus. Well, what a bonus that is, picking out that kick. And he has to take it home from here. Yeah, I was told it was pronounced Fan as well. Well, why doesn't he just change his name to Fan and stop any doubt then? That leaves nothing in any doubt whatsoever. That link, Potman, is a link to Woody's I Am Innocent video. Oh, what the hell's happened here? I'm busy reading the chat. What the hell's happened to Cirrus? That he's kicked out there, got the shot, and now it's McClarkey at the table. What's he done to blow that chance there? Because I completely missed it. Oh dear. Well, you'd have thought getting that bonus, he'd have been out. Oh, McClarkey stretches the lead again. It's back to 3. Now, this can go either way. As simple as that. It's either McClarkey's going to stretch away, or Cirrus is going to fight his way back in this. Well, that's a good pot in the 1. Not a bad kiss on the 5, but again, finishing square in the 2, but he's still got a shot, which is what matters. And once again, he's in a similar position to the last rack now that he's got control of the table. But, whoops, wrong button, hang on a minute. Let's have a look at this 5. Oh, that's looking nasty. It's just off the rail. Well, did you click it in the internal browser? Because if you have it in the external browser, it should take you to YouTube. In fact, I think if you just type in, if you go to YouTube and you type in, is it Tim Wills, his name is, Tim as in Tim, then Wills as in W-I-L-L-S, that should find his channel. Well, Cirrus is going to have to keep battling here because he's going to be left with a combo. But how good is he going to be in this combo with this really thin cut in the 6 or in the 7? Well, he's got a kick in the 7, the 8. That will do. That solves the problem of the combo. I have to also say, I don't ever remember Woody being around VP3. I don't remember the name. Must have been on at times I wasn't on. Now, what went in there? One ball gone. A shot in the two, and Cirrus come to life again. So it pops up with adverts in the internal browser, does it? Well, I'm glad I didn't click it then. Oh, speak of the devil, there he is. Links don't work on Twitch. Well, this will be a really good rat for Cirrus to win. To show that he's come here with intent to give McClarkey a match. This is the next tough one. Is he going to get up the table and leave a long combo in the six, or is he trying to drop into a gap? He's trying to get into the gap, and that's probably as good as he could do, but now he's either going to have to do the same thing, commit himself to pot the six, draw back and leave the long cut in the seven. Extremely difficult now where he's ended up. Well, I still prefer, believe it or not, I still prefer the bank at this angle, because the cue ball's going to be well away from a double kiss. It's going to get up the table and come back down, and you've got two chances of this seven ball going in. He's going to try and nudge this into the middle, and that was not easy. I would never have had the confidence to play that. And he needs another good one. He's holding it together so far. And this is one to give him a big test. And again, well played. And that was a good rack to win for Cirrus. He's held his nerve, didn't lose his bottle, and got the end result, the reward. And he's also got a ball in the break, and he's also on the one, or is he? Because that four ball has just killed that idea. If that four ball had stayed out the way he was on the run out, he's still got a chance if he goes for the combo. Again, well played. How's his luck? Well, again, it's 100% commitment if he's going for it past the 9. He could play a good safety here if he wants. And that's way too heavy. He's got to refine those shots up a bit, because he was on a wee bit of a roll there, and he's just sort of came off the rails with that shot. Again, getting back to within one, and not quite getting over the line to square the match up. He's had 2 goes at tying this match back up, and in the end he's blown both of them. This one's still not over yet. But already we've got a much more interesting match than the last few that we've actually seen in terms of being competitive. The match is very much still in the balance. Well, looks fairly simple to drop behind the 8 ball. Again, got to focus in the pot, let the cue ball do its thing. And now with this shot, it's a question of just rolling it to the rail and leaving the long one. And McClarkey's holding his nerve as well. Because again, that opportunity he's got there, and McClarkey's punished Cirrus for the error and maintains his 2-rack lead. Ball in the break. This time though, a shot for McClarkey to keep it going. And well, there's no problem with the 1 and no problem with the 2 and 3. It's getting up onto that 4, and if he gets on the 4 good, he should be out. Well, that's just a roll in, and he's got a perfect angle on the 3 just to get up by the middle pocket. Ideally though, he wants to overhit this slightly because you want to be there. You don't want to be running near this 8 ball, so you don't want to leave it here. This is not where you want. You want to overhit it and get the top end of that middle pocket, and that will take the 8 ball out of it. But I think he might. Now, does he want to stun this really hard to avoid the 8? Does he want to run through and brush off it and leave a long 5 down the rail? He's played the big stun. Now he needs the luck, and he's got it. He did the right choice. He knew the shot he needed to play to avoid that 8 ball. Big stun, and although he's got distance, he's given himself every chance to take the rack out now. And that's the difference between thinking about what you're doing and not having a clue about what you're doing. And any of these guys that are in this tournament still on the 1 loss side should be looking at what these players are doing. That's how you learn. And if only they did do that, they'd be better players overnight. So they would. It's amazing what you can achieve by just thinking. And it's amazing the amount of players haven't got a clue what thinking is all about. Particularly in billiard games and pool games. They don't realise the next level your game would go to when you start actually making proper choices and decisions and committing yourself to proper shots. But anyway, it's now gone to 3 racks to McClarkey. Cirrus has had 2 goes at squaring this match up, and he hasn't quite got there yet. Is he going to get another chance? So we lost the 6 in the break. The push out's been played. Cirrus can play it or give it back. He's looking for distance, and he's needing cover here, and he's not going to get it. And these little mistakes in the safeties is letting McClarkey in as well. I think Cirrus's last main shot was a safety that went wrong. I might be wrong myself, but I seem to remember it might have been that, where he didn't get a good safety, and he's allowed his opponent back in. No problem with the 3 ball going past the 8, and no problem getting on the 4, and this is not looking good as far as Cirrus is concerned, this rack. Well, that's just a wee bit short. Could have done with running up the table another foot for a more straightish pot in the 3, but he's got the angle to get over past the 7 and 5 and leave that 4 up the table. But now, in all honesty, the sensible shot would be to try and get to the middle of the table so you can play the combo, because it's, you know, it's pretty much unmissable. But to get here is leaving it really difficult, and that's where McClarkey might have been better trying to get up into the middle of the table to leave that combo, because he was bound to get it. If he'd got anywhere here, he'd have been hard pushed to miss it. But now it's really tough. And he's pushed it in past the 9. That was excellent. Well, Juan was warming up then, is he? Maybe he's leaving it a bit late though. He only needs to hobble over the line. He only needs another 4 racks to survive. And it's going to be 4 racks that's in it in this match once this 9 ball goes down. And, well, I would say at this stage Cirrus needs something to happen for him, just to steady the ship. Well, that won't help, because McClarkey's got the biggest bonus of all, the 9 ball in the break, and it's now stretched again. Amazing how the matches can get away from you once the break starts working and balls start falling. And this is also the true test of pressure for Cirrus, because McClarkey's come up dry and all the balls are on, and he has to deliver. This is no miss, no mistake, got to get it done. But that's part of the battle. The next part of the battle, and the most important part, is what happens after this rack. Should Cirrus win it, he needs a ball and a shot, and he needs to get these balls running good for him. Well, this is the one that can go wrong, because we know the shot is a good firm pot in this 6, and it's got to be clean to get that 6 ball to stay in the pocket. And he's played it well. Now, the only way this is going to go wrong is if he goes too far left and scratches the middle pocket, but anywhere on the left side of the table up past the middle pocket, and he's got a simple enough shot. And the pace looks pretty good to me. If it keeps going, it could have done me a wee bit more, but he's got plenty of room if he wants to run across the table and come back into the table off the other rail. Whoa, he's blown that one big time, but he might have got away with it yet. His mind was on getting that cue ball to the spot to pot that 9. Now, how's Cirrus's safety? Well, that could have done with running another 2 feet. It might have been closer behind that 9 ball. So it's all out for the thin cut, or it's all out for the bank. It looks like the cut. And Cirrus lives again, but he's going to have to definitely produce the bank this time. And I'd be more inclined to go for the reverse bank and spin the cue ball around the angles in the process and give it every chance of doubling up or down the table. He's gone for it clean and control, but he hasn't got there, and that may be his chance gone for this rack. Played the control shot to get that cue ball there or thereabouts on the 9, but he was only ever giving himself the chance to get it right first time. He wasn't hitting it with the pace for it to go up and down should he miss it first time. Well, that's got to hurt, but he may well have got away with it. But this is the one that you have to go for the kick, because you will scratch. You will scratch trying to pot the 9 there. It's a line off the top, off there, just to come there. But I've actually got mine too close. He's taking the right line that way, and that's just going to go past. Well, there are worse places for the 9 to finish, because this is another tester. And it's well played. It's a get out of jail card there for Cirrus. Back to within 4. But he needs the match to turn on the break here. A 9 ball in the break would be nice and handy. But he ain't getting anything. No joy. I'm not quite sure what McClarkey tried there, but there is the chance to get off and running here with this combo. Where's the 1 ball going to finish? So that's the big question. Well, that'll be ideal. That's a bonus, the 2 of them going in. Big ground to cover around the angles. If he wants to go that way, got to get the pace. How's the pace? Just a wee bit too far, but he's still in line. He's certainly going to miss the 7. Is he looking to just drop through and play a combo, or is he looking to take a risk and let the cue ball run? That is the question. He's had a look at how things look at this bottom end of the table. They don't look all that pretty, especially the distance between the 5 and the 8. And he's letting it run to try and drop bottom side and give himself a shot at it, and that is not bad. He could have played that worse. And now, well, he's got a much shallower angle, taking it into the top corner pocket, in which case the cue ball's just going to come out off the rail onto the 6. He had a look at it in the middle. Well, his score will suddenly look different and better when he gets to double figures. And don't forget, we'll have a look at the stats at the end of the night just to see where Cirrus has got to, where McClarkey is. And we may well jump out of here for a minute or two to have a look and see how the Tommy U1 match is going on, or Fan. We'll wait and see Cirrus's break if he finishes this rack. But he's dead straight in the 8. Well, that's going to have to travel, because these are the old sphincter tighteners, these shots. This is not easy to read at that angle. But not a problem. So in it goes. And the break is dry. Right, let's have a quick jump across. Where the hell is it now? And we've jumped in as Fan has got it back to 10-8 with the break. And he's got a 1 ball in the break, the 3 balls hanging, the 2 balls coming down nicely onto the top rail where the cue ball is. And, well, I don't see a problem here. The only problem is the 7 ball, if you would call it a problem, but it's got plenty of room to go past the 9. He can pot the 2. He just needs to make sure he leaves the shot in the 3, so there's a wide gap between the 8 and the 6. That's where he's aiming for. And the other problem now, of course, is getting right down to this bottom area here. He wants to get in the kitchen. He doesn't want to be anywhere up the table, because this 8 ball's going to get in the way one way or another. So to right down into the kitchen will do. Now this one is the problem one to the 6, because he's dead straight. So the simplest shot is the big draw onto the rail and out. Get yourself into the heart of the table. Well, tell a lie, I forgot about the 5. 5's hanging. I'm too busy looking up here forgetting the 5's over the pocket. Well, is he going to... I think if I was looking at this situation here, the worry that I would have is that I leave myself too straight on this 6 and end up having just to roll through and play the bank on the 7. He wants to get the cue ball into the table so he can do something with it. And now he can do something with it. And if he's brave enough, he can come back this way and push that 7 past the 9. That would be the shot. And that is a good effort. It is a good effort. And now again he has to look at the situation that he's left himself with. If the worst comes to the worst and he runs through to the 9, he's going to leave himself too square in this 8 ball. So he knows the measure of the shot he has to play. He just needs to roll through a tad. Enough weight to get the pot. And enough running just to go through and be looking on that 8 ball. He doesn't want to get fancy and try to do some sort of miracle shot. You do what's simple. So the pace is perfect. If he'd gone there, he was in trouble. If he finishes there, he's perfect. A delicate little jabby draw. And we've got a match on, folks. And it's back to within 1. And what was Tommy up 6-0 at the start? And he's getting balls in the break. Oh, he's going to have a testy 1-8 combo to keep him going. And the other problem again is the same one. Where's the 1 ball going when he plays this 1-8 combo? And if he gets it, how does he get on that too? He was 8-0 up. Well, the best thing that happened there was the 1 staying in the table. But he's going to have to pinch the edge of it and more than likely just try and run to come up to the gap where the 7 and the 2 is. If he lets it run, it looks as if he's drawn. That's the danger. But he's got half a shot. He's got to run big time up and down to get anywhere near the 3. And he's got, again, this is where you have to be fully committed. You can't chicken out in these and try and hold the ball. You have to let it run and take the risk. Well, he's holding it and letting it. You see, he hasn't committed. See, the cue ball, he's let it go half-hearted to leave a high cut when he should have been 100% committed. He's battled all the way to here. You can't bottle out on playing the right shot at the end of the day. And that 2 ball had to be punched in and get the cue ball running. And he was fortunate he never left it on for Tommy. And the problem with this is the thin edge of the 2 means the cue ball might be keeping a straight line virtually to run in either the 7 or the 5. So he might not get distance here. Well, he's hit the 5. And again, he may well have escaped. Now, how brave is Tommy you going to be? Is he going to try and just bump past the 3 and risk scratching? Yes, he is. And he scratched. Commentators curse, and Tommy's fell into the trap. And it's given Fan ball in hand and an invitation to the party. Well, ball in hand, study the table, he's doing the right thing. So the objective here is leave the angle on the 4. You don't want to get cute in the 4, you want to be here in the 4. That way you're going that way for the 5. So he doesn't want it, he actually wants to be stunning this in so the cue ball goes that way. He doesn't want to be rolling to the rail unless he makes sure he gets out. He must be looking at the 4 with an angle. See, that's more or less half-hearted again. He's going to have to force this now and leave this 5 ball probably outward. He needs to get this in. Just a couple of shots he's not been 100% committed. But this one here, he should have stunned it to come up the way. That's a surefire way you know you're going that direction. This is too straight. And he's managed to squeeze the angle. Well, now, you look at what he's got here. I would be more inclined to let this run because there's plenty of room to come around on the safe side of the 7 rather than babying it in and leaving yourself awkward. I'd be committed to just punch it in a wee bit of top and right and let it run around with the right weight to be looking on the 7. It's easy enough to do. It's a shot to play. But he's staying in the short side of it, and he's got good on it. Going the other way just gives you more margin of error. This one you need to get good so you don't leave any of these tricky wee awkward angles. But he's within a ball of squaring the match. Well, here we go. Definitely is party time now, folks. 10 racks all in a race to 13 to survive in the 2021 Virtual 9-Ball World Championships. And Fan with the break. And balls are going in. The 6 balls tracking as well. And a shot in the 1. And it's going to have to be a drop through. I don't know what the angle's like. You know what? The angle in this 1 ball means the cue ball is going that way, more or less in the gap, and that's why he's hit it soft. Now does he play the safety? Does he play the billiard? I don't know that the billiard's that good either. You'd have to stud it firm to try and make the billiard. But I don't think he's got an awful lot of options here. He might be looking at the billiard. He's had a look at it. It's far enough out and enough room to get there. But you're just riding your luck that you'll have a shot in the 2 if you get this 5 in. Well, he's played it firm enough. The 2 ball's running. It needs to keep running. It needs to keep going. And he'll be happy with that. However, there's trouble ahead, which is that there. I'll have a quick drink. 15-10. Well, I think we're sticking with this for the time being. Oh dear, he's missed the 2 again. Well, I think he's won a watch here. Look at what he's done. And that's the sort of lucky break you need. There's no doubt he'll have worked hard to get back to this stage of the match, and when you get that little lucky break, it's no time for apologies. It's a time to get your head down and stay fully focused. And Tommy Yu is looking to find some sort of line somewhere to get to this 2. He's really tight in the 4. Oh, he's going to break them out. And there you go. Well, Fan, if ever you're going to get a helping hand, there it is. The 4 ball is on past the 9. And it's all about getting around and out and getting good on that 3 to take the lead. Well, there's me saying, I wonder if Fan was listening. He's been in quite a few of these big tournaments, and he's folded like a pack of cards in most of the matches we've seen. Is he going to come through big time in this match to survive in a tournament? And again, no sooner have we said that than he's got the spin in the running side in the cue ball, and he's forgot the pot. Oh, he's going to kick himself big time. He had 11-10 staring him in the face, and well, that has to go down as a choker. You're running that 2 ball in every day of the week to get the cue ball out onto the 3. And this is going to hurt if Tommy Yu can get this done. I think Tommy's left the building. Oh no, there he is. He's come to life. I think Tommy's thinking the rack was over and he went for a biscuit or something. He's surprised he's back at the table. This is going to be painful for Fan Fan. It's going to hurt if Tommy Yu can get on this 4. Oh, is he going to get there? Just, and no more. Just on it. He's got to be delicate with this as well to keep this cue ball from squirting away too far. And he shouldn't have any problem now. Well, this is painful. It's painful to watch, considering where Fan Fan had got himself on that 2 ball. Plenty of room to run around. That wiped its feet. And he's ended up rattling the 2. Cannot take liberties with these pockets. They'll never forgive you. And Tommy Yu, well, I'm sure his fingernails are sort of down to the roots. But he's got himself back in the lead. But it has to be said, he was gifted that opportunity, staring that he was going to be trailing, and now finds he's back in the lead. But he's come up dry, and he may well be in trouble here in a second or 2. I mean, Fan Fan could play the billiard on the 8, or he could play the safety on the 1. And he's done the right thing, and he needs to get it tight to the 8. And that's not tight enough, because that cut is on the 1. Believe it or not, and that is a poor shot at very much the wrong time in the match. You've got to nail them tight. And in goes the 1, and the cue ball's on the 2. How good is Tommy Yu's nerve? He's the wrong side of the 2 though. And he's left it long. Again, not trying to create miracle shots. He's leaving it tough, but at least he's leaving himself a chance of a pot, albeit not easy, especially where he's stuck down in the rail. But it just squeezes past the 4. Yeah, that's a big ask, that one. How's his luck? Well, it isn't on. So now all the pressure reverts back to Fan Fan. How's his nerve going to hold after seeing a chance disappear to take the lead, but given a golden opportunity to square it up again? Needs to miss the 4, and it has done. And this is another test of nerve, because it's a simple enough pot on the 4 and a draw, but how's your control with the draw to leave yourself a half decent shot in this 5? Well, it's more the stunny draw, and that'll do nicely. And again, no prizes here for being a hero. You stun the 5 in, you run the 6 in long, and you come up into the heart of the table for the 7, and that's how you get it done simply. Well, you see, he's now gone slightly the other side of the 6. Now, he doesn't want to be doing anything elaborate with the cue ball. You tend to want to put a wee bit of inside right just to check it down the middle of the table. And it's held up. And now he's got all the room in the world to get on this 8 ball. Now, how does he do it? Does he stun to the bottom rail? That would be the safest shot. And does he run into this 9 ball if he does? Stunning off the bottom rail and back up the table. And he's run into the 9, and would you believe it? Commentator's curse. He's found the only way to get himself in trouble. It's unbelievable how people can attract that cue ball to the only object ball that's going to give you problems in running the table. And well, Fan's going to have to dig out the jump stick, because this is a good enough, plenty of room to jump this. You've just got to get the angle of that cue lower. Which then allows you to make the jump lower like that and get to the object ball. And he did everything right but pot the 8. How's his luck? And it ain't good, I'm afraid. And Fan's had his chances. But that shot there may well be the killer. Hooking himself behind the 9. And it's another escape. Big time for Tommy Yu. But is it going to be one too many for Fan to survive? It's now 12-10. Tommy Yu on the hill with the break and a tilted rack. And a ball has gone in, and lo and behold, it's the 9 ball, and that is the ultimate sucker punch at the end of the match for Fan. It all went downhill at 10-all when he had that chance to be 11-10 up and blew it. And Tommy Yu finishes with the ultimate pain infliction on Wanwa with the 9 ball in the break for the 13-10 win. Well, that looked as if it was going to go all the way, but it's amazing how things go wrong. Where are we in this other match? We must be about done. In fact, where the hell is it? I can't see it in the bracket. There we go. Well, we're back into the winner's side match between Cirrus. I mean, let's be honest. Fan should have been in the lead. Full stop. He should have been 11-10 up, but that was where his match was won and lost, on that shot on the 2 ball. Trying to get the cue ball around the angles and rattles it. Well, basically up in that top right hand corner where we're looking at the moment. Meanwhile, McClarkey's in a very strong position here, trying to draw into the 3 to get it in play. Gets it in play and gets hooked. But he may well be too far away for Cirrus to do any major damage and get back into this match. But the one thing that has come about from this is McClarkey's going to be a danger to anybody that he meets in this tournament, because he is a player that knows what he's doing, thinks about what he's doing, and can pot a ball. And if you ever bump into any of them, they're going to be trouble. Well, you got out of jail there, Tommy. Yeah, but certainly what a start to the match, but what a sad ending for Fan. And what, as I said there, what a sucker punch for the 9 ball in the break to win the match. That is not pleasant viewing if you're Fan at the end there, because everything seemed to be fitting into place for him, and then it all just fell apart in 3 racks. Well, I think I did. It's the usual success that happens when I join a room. Oh dear. I've got major voodoo about me in Virtual Pool 4. I don't know why it happens. Yeah, it's well past my bedtime as well. Well, but anyway, you survive, you're still in the tournament, that's all that matters. You live to fight another day. And, well, Cirrus will as well. He's going to have to battle in the hard, or battle the hard way if he's going to stay in the tournament, because his likelihood of staying in the winner's side is fairly slim, unless he gets a runner axe starting here. Here and now is where it needs to start. The 2 balls going in, but the cue ball's followed. And the lifeline is the fact the 3 ball is where it is. But again, a reminder to everybody that's still watching and still awake, when this match is over, we'll have a catch-up on the stats, and we'll also have a catch-up on the matches that we have tomorrow, because there is a couple of matches on tomorrow. One of them, I think, is Bedhead. I think tomorrow night. We'll get a reminder of that once this is done. I don't know what Cirrus is trying here. I don't know whether, I'm not convinced that he tried to play a billiard onto that 6, because it wasn't lined anywhere near good to be able to play that. Now's a better chance to put McClarkey in trouble. I mean, the pot's on in the 3, and the pot's on in the 4 and the 5. It's getting from the 6 and getting out onto the 7 that's going to be the problem, because it's hiding behind the 8. You know, what to do here? Now again, what way is Cirrus going to play this? Because if he plays it from this end, he has to make sure, I'll get my line working properly, he has to make sure he's playing the 6 that way, so the cue ball can go here and leave my shot on the 7. And that will do. That's going to allow him to fall into place. You can just roll it in and let the cue ball do its thing. It will get there. He just doesn't want to finish here. You don't want to be there. You want to be more or less about there if you can. Now the surefire way of guaranteeing that is to stun across and draw it. He's letting it run, but he's got there, so he can now come out behind the 8. And well, this will be 2 in a row for Cirrus, will it not? Was it 17-10 for McClarkey? I think it was. Not quite 2 in a row yet, but rapidly approaching it. And we are rapidly approaching 3 hours. We are 2 hours and 50 minutes with tonight's stream. Well, this is going low to take it into the middle, and we'll give him that one to get back to within 5. But again, the break has to work. Got to get the run on that break and get control of the table. If he's to stay in this match much longer. So he's breaking from where the cue ball appears. And nothing going, but nothing doing for McClarkey. It's safe. Well, if he plays the push out, he doesn't want to leave it. Doesn't want to leave that one at an angle that he can push through, and he's avoided that. Because the easy thing you can do there is leave yourself open to the push through, and the force follow onto that 3 ball and lock it up. So he's prevented that. Now Cirrus, of course, could give this back if he doesn't like the shot. Trying to tuck it in behind it. Well, he hasn't got any spin on it at all. I was waiting in that cue ball spinning in behind the 6 and 9 there, but it was just plain ball. And it's only ever going to follow the line it took to hit the rail and go straight back up into the table. You've got to get that spin on it if you want that cue ball to tuck away and hide. It's not going to go there by itself. So, the problem ahead is the 6 ball being in such a narrow gap. The simple way to get to that gap is rolling the 5 down the table and get to here. That's the simple way of doing it. And that looks like what he'll be doing, because that's where you just take your medicine. There's a simple way to get there to give yourself a chance to get on that 6, and he's not gone straight enough on the 5. So that's the first failure there. If he'd gone straight enough, it was a simple roll through. Now he's going to have to do a bit of work, I think, and he's tried to get cute, and that's never going to work at that angle. That line was never on. As soon as he got off the straightish line, he was never going to get in the 6. And so Cirrus breathes again, and if you can see this clean, he might kick it in. Well, he's actually missed it all. So now Cirrus has ball in hand and has the chance to narrow the gap even more, and he simply has to take it. It's going to be awkward. That 7 more or less stuck to this rail. It's a gap there, but there's a lot of distance to travel. I don't like this. I think he's worried about trying to find a way up, but he's going to roll up on the short side of this 7 doing this. No, he's not. He's playing an angle to run across into the middle of the table. Well, this is dangerous because this could hang up. He's played it well, and he needs anything but straight. Well, if he force follows with a bit of top and left, he'll get around the angles. Now, the danger is scratching in this middle pocket. And he's fine, he's got away with that one. And now the little stun to the bottom rail, avoiding the 9. And as they come back on. What combo was you talking about, Potman? I've missed the chat there. I've been too busy focusing on the game. I haven't read the chat. Anyway, Cirrus breaks off, trailing by 4. And he's got the 5 ball in the break. He's got half a shot in the 1. Nothing's easy. Oh, the 6-9 combo. Oh no, It was always a case of getting good on that 6, but as I said, that shot that McClarkey had there, he just had to get it as straight as he could, and he would have been rolling through for that 6 ball. And Cirrus did everything but pot it. It was very difficult. That one. Oh, at this time of night I'll miss loads of things because I'm in shutdown mode. I hold my hands up to anything that can happen. I mean, there's a combo in the 4-9. But the 3 balls the other side of the table. But you've got to remember, I'm watching the match with one eye at this time of night. Well, that's not going to get things done for McClarkey. And there might be a glimmer of hope here for Cirrus yet. You never know. Well, you'll take that every day. That's worked out an excellent kick. A kick safe. And now the pressure's immediately stacked on Cirrus to come up with something that's going to get him out of the problem and try and keep things safe. He's going to be hard pushed to do that from this angle, because that 3 ball's going to come over the table and the cue ball has gone off the table, and so McClarkey can steady any nerves he might have by finding a way to get a shot in that 4, and where he's looking right now at the cue ball is more or less where he wants to be. That would guarantee a shot. He can get really clever and try and get into this gap. That would be ideal, but the safest one is to leave the cut that way. But the problem is the 6 ball is blocked off by the 8. So let's see how he handles this. Well, I mean, the line would be to push that to come in behind the 7, and he hasn't got either. He's underhit it. Fair enough, he's left a pot on, but let's be honest, Cirrus's chances of getting good on this 6 are fairly slim. He's going to have to let this cue ball run either way. Now, once again, he's got a very easy safety here. This is not difficult. Just to drop onto that 8 ball. He's lining up the combo, I think, though. Oh, he's played it well. Now, can he avoid the 9 ball? Because that could then just leave him awkward on this 7, or make the cut on the 7 more awkward if he stays narrow. Well, he's just brushed the 9, and that's worked out perfect. That needs to keep going. That is a bit short of his bedhead territory, folks. And these are the ones that you don't want to push to the rail too soon, because it will stay up. You've got to get it flush. And that is good. Well, I'm not going to go as far to say we'll get a match on yet. It's still a 3 rack gap. There's still a comfort zone there for McClarkey. But again, a ball in the break. Now, how's this cue ball going to finish? That 7 ball has scuppered the shot in the 1. But now Cirrus has to play a sensible push out here. Now if he plays it to the top side, he's going to leave the chance of being locked out when McClarkey plays his safety. Now this 1 ball, I reckon he's going to have to make the angle that way if he's going to push the 1 that way to avoid running into the 4. He's went all out for the pot. How's the luck with the kiss and the 2? Not too shabby, I would say. So he's fooled us all with that one. Oh, he certainly fooled me. But like I say, McClarkey makes his mind up. He does not go half measures. I don't think he ever has done. It's all or nothing when he goes for it and makes his mind up. And he's going to win the match. This will take him to 1 away. And will snuff out any hope that Cirrus has of pinching this at the last kick. Right, so don't all go dashing away once this is finished. We've got to look at the stats and then we've got to remind ourselves and myself what's up for tomorrow night. So a little drop through for the 8 into the middle so that you can just run up for the 9. Well, he's going to the middle of the table. It just means he's got more work to do with the cue ball. And this is not exactly what you want from over that knuckle in the middle pocket. This has made the shot 10 times more difficult than what it could have been to get onto this 9. Had he just dropped through or come off the rail up to here, he would have ran that 8 into it. But again, he's played an excellent shot to stun across. That was not easy having to dig in to get on and across for that 9. And now he's almost home and dry. Free ball in and a break. 7 ball hanging. No shot in the 1. If he goes to the short side in the kitchen, he's going to be locked out. So he's got to play a push out where he's probably bringing the 1 into play. But if he plays anywhere down the table towards us, he's leaving the pot on. If he stays in the kitchen, leaving Cirrus a shot on the 1, he'll lock McClarkey out behind the 5. And I think that's what will happen. Let's have a look. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. And Cirrus might not like the look of this. He might give it back. I think this is not a very inviting shot. I don't think I would fancy that. Mind you, I'd fancy playing that shot though. That's excellent. Excellent touch. Now, is there a gap past that 5? That's fairly tight. The line he's taken. And it's so difficult to judge, but he's got the hit and it's legal and it's safe. Now, is there enough? No, there isn't. This is not easy to get safe either, because there's always the chance of a cut onto this 8 and 7. There's also a chance of a billiard from the 1. If you want to be really brash and aggressive, you could try billiarding onto the 8 and nudging the 7 in by some way or another, but it's almost a sort of desperate shot to have a go at that. Well, this is going to squirt out. Is it going to get by the pocket? No, it's not far enough. And so Cirrus has his chance to survive another rack. Dear. Well, this has suddenly become very awkward, where he's finished on the 4, and every shot now has the potential to be his last shot. On the winner's side, that is. But he's found one way of potting a ball, and now a simple little 3-ball combo. Oh, he's got that all wrong. I don't know why he didn't just push it into it. Well, that could be his last shot now. Now, does he play the cut or the billiard onto the 8 and the 7? He's played the cut and just hoping that the 4 stays there in play, and it has done. And this match is over, folks. Strange idea that Cirrus had with that shot there. Why he didn't play the little 3-ball combo, I don't know. I don't know what he was trying to achieve with that shot. But this, well, the only way this can go wrong is the cue ball scratching in this bottom corner. And he's well away from that. Leaving the high cut again, but he should be home and safe. And it's going to be McClarkey through to round 3 against Cirrus. And it's by the margin of 19 racks to 14. And a very solid performance by McClarkey. Cirrus, there's 1 or 2 weaknesses there. And he's got time to iron those out, because he's going to have to work hard on the 1-loss side. So well done to McClarkey, or MC Clarkey. Now let's have a look at this tournament stat thing. And see how that's affected it. Because we've had those matches tonight. If we go to the 9-ball stats, and we go to, in fact, let me just do something, hang on a sec. We can get this damn thing to work. Wait a wee minute. It'll not bloody work. Hold on. Well, we can see that Tommy Yu has gone to the top. He's now on 13. And Cirrus is on 12. And Larry's on 12. Stubbs on 12. McClarkey's jumped into first, second. He's jumped into 3rd place on his own with 8. And then the rest are all falling off that top 10. Certainly all the 4s have fallen off. And Cobra, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And Cobra's off the list. And the last ones on it are those tied on 6. So that's changed the leaderboard and makes it interesting for the racks run. Let's look at the money balls. Where are we? Because we have a few of those. Break money balls made. Well, Tommy Yu is in the lead with 3. Runouts from the break 10. Stubb, I think, is still in the lead there with that one. No, Larry's still in the lead with 12. and then it's 11:10. Right, we've had enough of that. Let's have a final look at the bracket to see what's on tomorrow. I think you've all abandoned me. Right, so tomorrow is the 7th. If we start from top to bottom, let me have a look, see how things have changed. Right, well, tomorrow night we've got a one-loss side match with Dirties and Cirrus at 8 PM. If we go down the bracket, we can see that at 7 PM tomorrow night, the main match is going to be between VP Monster and Cobra at 7 PM. That will be either 2 PM or 11 AM Monster's time zone in the States. And we go further down. Where the hell is it? If I went past it? Or have I missed it entirely? Why can't I see this damn thing in the bracket? Alright, so it's I thought it was set. Right, anyway, as far as tonight's concerned, there's 2 matches on tomorrow night. We've got VP Monster against Cobra at 7 PM, and we have a one-loss side match between Dirties and Cirrus at 8 PM. So I'll be there for that, and I don't know what the hell's happening with Bedhead match. It should appear in the bracket at some time tomorrow, and then we'll know where we stand. These other matches are all for a few days later. So, well done to MC Clarkey. And in fact, let me just check that one, because who the hell does he end up playing? Well, we've got HAZAD set to play Larry. And MC Clarkey is going to play the winner between Snake Eyes and the Reedman. Well, I don't think this guy's going to show. I think Snake Eyes will get a bye. I think that's pretty much what will happen there. So it's more than likely anyway that Snake Eyes is going to meet McClarkey. And going on that performance tonight, I think MC Clarkey or Matt is going to be too strong for Snake Eyes. HAZAD, well, if he ups his game, he's going to give Larry a match. Larry will be the favourite. We've got Mr. Fox waiting on the winner of the match between Monster and Cobra. And I think that's about all. We've got LS3 who come through in that that final rat decider against Tommy Yu on the winner's side. And she's through to play the winner of Bedhead and Linus. And Bedhead should be the strong favourite for that one. And Stubb awaits the match between Interchange X and Mooncake. Now, where the hell's Mooncake again? Is he the Netherlands? Interchange X is the States, so the big problem's the time zone there and what's going to suit him. Because Interchange X is not on at this time of night. Very, very rarely, if ever. We've got Spectre Dawn through to play the winner of the Hairpig and Swiley match. And then One Pocket Slim is to arrange his match with Shooters Pool Pro. And then we've also got in a couple of days' time Supernova against Jug Eye Bob. So that is it, folks. We've had some good matches tonight. Some matches that had the potential to go all the way but didn't. And I hope you enjoyed it. It's been good to have your company. I wish you good night. Take care, stay safe, and keep your eye on the bracket. And I'll be back tomorrow night for more live matches. And we'll see you again soon.